Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of your weekly dose of Terraform. This is episode number 100, and I've been doing this for 3 years. Well, time flies. Please say hello in the chat so that I know that there are more people than myself. And yeah, uh, good. Um, well, let me think what I wanted to say. Right, so this is episode 100 because I like what I'm doing. Previously, I was uh, doing several episodes about reviewing different companies, different products, and it was fun. And I know that some of you enjoyed it because I received feedback. Thank you very much for that. And yeah, hello, Jackie Jack. Yeah, great milestone. I absolutely agree. Um, so let me share my screen and what I want to say as well is that this episode I will be focusing on writing code and it should be yeah, it should be more practical for people who are dealing with Terraform. As always, if you have any questions about what I say or why I say what I do, please leave a comment and I will try to reply as soon as I can. Um, yeah, feel free to subscribe to my channel and enjoy all other episodes. I hope you like them. Hello, Vyacheslav. Right. Okay, so let me see. 1 second. Uh, right. Okay. So um, I'm a bit kind of a bit delayed, but okay, good. So I'm also writing a Terraform weekly newsletter, and if you have been following all the drama about OpenTF, uh, I'm not going to talk about this. Um, I believe that uh, we should not support OpenTF as much as some of you think. Uh, I like these arguments pretty much. I agree with many of them, and yeah, there is not much to say. Time will show, but currently I'm not supporting OpenTF in the way it is. Yeah, feel free to go weekly.tf, subscribe, and hopefully you will like some links which I found online. And also, it's my pleasure to mention many open source projects which can be handy if you're working with Terraform and TerraGrant. For example, Travel Grant. I put three exclamation marks because I think it's a cool project, though I have not been using it myself. But I look into documentation, I look into project overall, and I like it. And also a couple other projects. Okay, so enough about this one. Well, not enough. There are quite a lot of people reading this stuff. There are more than 5,400 subscribers currently through emails, plus a lot of people read it through different RSS and other places. Hello, Anand and Samuel. Great to see you guys. So yeah, feel free to go there, leave your email and subscribe. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Mm, and yeah, enough about this stuff, right? Let's talk about fun stuff, which I think some of you will find useful as well. So first of all, Terraform AWS modules. This is something what I've been working uh, since 2017. Yeah, around that time. And so far so good. People are using it. That's that's no problem with this one. Though as people are using it, people are opening issues. why cannot you just guys fix everything yourself and just leave me alone? Okay, I understand that not everybody can fix everything. Fine, that's why I look into, you can see many different tabs open. This is just during last 10 days, I guess, maybe a couple weeks. Something what I looked into. I read through this issues briefly. I open tabs, and now I will look through each of these and maybe fix some of them. Okay, so if you have any specific things again which you want me to look into, please mention it in the comment, and I will be glad to work on it, or at least explain something around it. Okay, so let's see. This is issue number 1. When I see something like this, maybe I need to increase font. Explanation like this doesn't make a lot of sense because I have no clue what kind of code you actually used. And here I will look into this and probably will not do anything meaningful. I will explain why. Okay, so error expected default cache blah 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 should be one of these, got 0. Well, you probably specified 0. That's it, problem solved. Okay, yeah, exactly. So what it means is that event type for CloudFront function association should be of specific type, and there can be only one viewer request function, one viewer response function, and so on. And user specified 0. What I can look, I can go here, I can go to examples, I can find specific example here, and I can say function, and I can say that lambda function association should have these keys, right? And user did not specify it or wrote something different. So the solution here is very straightforward. You just copy permalink, could say, and say, hi, message. Please take a look into example. And the key in the map should be one of required values. That's it. There is pretty much nothing else to do. Okay, and luckily close this issue, and problem done. Amazing, this was quick. Not much to think about it. Second thing, documentation request for update. Well, if this is documentation request, what's hard? What is like the limiting factor for anyone to do this? I mean, look into this issue, which is, by the way, oops, which is, by the way, ancient as hell. Mm, there are some questions, uh, some solutions. Oh, I have reviewed the code. It should be like this. Amazing. Please fix documentation. The usage here for forwarded values is very confusing. I don't mind. This is still not documented. Okay, maybe it's really not documented so clear. So let's take a look. So this was the solution, and let's take a look into how the documentation is actually written. Maybe they are right. Where is it? Forward. Well, there is no forwarded rules in documentation. Well, I guess during 2 years, lots of things may have changed, and that's why there is no even mention of this word, right? So it was maybe headers. No, in this code there is no forwarded rules or headers. Maybe there's something in example. What we can look here, header. No, there is no header. And what about forwarder? No, there is also no forward. Okay, so this is simply not shown anywhere. Okay, but then just I need to ask someone to write this documentation because that's how it's made. Okay, there is no documentation, but please open a PR with the suggested updates to the documentation, and that's it. Again, I'm not gonna to fix all possible issues which people suggest. Some of them are very obvious and people have more understanding than me. Really, I don't know what exactly was the case right now. I need to do some research, but come on. Okay, example for bucket owner enforce. This is another request for the documentation, I guess. I think it's not clear how to create S3 bucket with ACLs disabled. Well, honestly, I don't know myself. But in this case, I think it's quite interesting to implement it because, I mean, don't ask people to implement it, but implement it myself because I need it myself. I mean, I implement usually things if I need them for some of my work. And also, it's been 15 minutes and I still haven't shown how awesome my code editor is, right? Okay, so the thing here is example for bucket owner enforced where disabled ACLs mention what if ACL variables, what ACL variables should be set to. Okay, let's go to the code and I have this location and it is S3 bucket module. Probably like this is even better, bigger font. Okay, let me know if you cannot see it so well, so I will increase font, or actually I can increase it anyway, because I know that it's going to be easier if I use, where is my, yeah, no, it's not here. It's probably in another view. Yeah, it's called IntelliJ. Oops, yeah, you still see it? Yes, you still see it. That's an achievement. Good, so in this case, I have everything shown. Okay, let's take a look into example. And as the person suggests, that it's not clear how to use this module for what was it? Bucket owner enforced. So bucket owner enforced. I guess this is it, right? Is this bucket owner enforced? It has options for bucket owner enforced, then ACLs are disabled, and the bucket owner automatically owns and has full control over every object in the bucket. That's cool. Okay. Now let's take a look into other examples. So here we have bucket owner enforced as a default value. So this is for log bucket. If it is CloudFront log bucket, then it is object writer. So it is opposite. What else do we have? And bucket owner preferred. Well, we actually have cases for all three. Bucket ownership control shown here. Okay, so what does it mean? That we have S3 bucket where we define that this is it. Right. ACL should not be set, I guess, should not be set when we specify CloudFront log bucket because of these settings. Because when we define who owns the object, then ACL is not needed. I mean ACL or grant. Anyway, we have control for these three values here, and all of them are shown as example. I don't think we need to spend more time actually here than just telling to Marek that there is example, complete, main, and point. He said bucket owner enforced. Well, bucket owner enforced and ACL private will fail because that's a limitation of, well, not limitation, it's behavior, it's expected behavior of S3 service. ACL will fail because this is expected, or this is invalid combination of parameters according to the behavior of Amazon S3. Usually when I'm referring to something, I like to provide links where I got it from. And quite often when I write something like this is like my assumption, like my well-educated assumption, I would say. And when I say, okay, I'm going to find link to confirm this is assumption, this is valid assumption, and then I do some Google and I figure out that, oh, no, actually I was wrong because it works slightly differently. And then I change my statement to another one. And it's usually so funny that I, yeah, I say one thing and then when I finish writing the sentence, uh, then I realize that it was totally opposite. But okay, at least in this case, I can provide with a link to documentation. According to the behavior of Amazon S3, read the docs. And read the docs is going to be linked to this object ownership. So that's it. Please take a look into, well, he already figured out that there is example / complete. There are various combinations of the values shown. Ta-da! Oh, that's quick. I like when it's so quick. I don't know if it's right, but I like it. Okay, let's move on. In DynamoDB, someone, let's call him Marco. Marco wanted to add it would be nice to use schedule scaling for DynamoDB tables. If you want to save cost with provision, but have, for example, an import job that needs a lot of capacity, it's the only option to not run into scaling issues. Yeah, right. Well, yeah, in general, of course, you can provide different options. I mean, you can specify different things uh, inside of this DynamoDB module. And let's see exactly how exactly it's implemented. Uh, okay, let's look into this one from another way. So since it was recent, it means that it's already pretty good, and there is no need to click this button which says update with latest master, something like this. So probably that's good. There is also an issue. And let's see. Somebody upvoted, which is usually a good indicator that somebody cares about. Okay, well, let's look into this one. Okay, here we have already implemented a bunch of different auto-scaling things. We have a way to scale read capacity and write capacity. So we have implemented a bunch of app auto-scaling policies already. And now let's look into what exactly Marco is adding here. Okay, some magic detected. What is module? Module for what? Module inside of module called module. That's pretty cool, but totally useless. Okay, here we are. So this module is implementing app auto-scaling scheduled action. And that's standard Indian. Well, pretty cool name. I recently saw a meme, not meme, but funny image about, I think, artificial Indian, which is short form for AI. Okay, let's see what's going on here. So app auto-scaling scheduled action implemented as a module. It's totally not necessary, but let's take a look into what's going on here. So we are adding this app auto-scaling scheduled action, and then it's implemented as a resource. Let's see some magic. Okay. All right. Let's see. I'm not sure I understand the purpose of this module, really. Well, this is implementation of app auto-scaling scheduled action, and the module is implementing the same. Yeah, exactly the same. So, yeah, this is probably a mistake. Okay. So anyway, first suggestion is get rid of the module, and then we can take a look into it. Let's see, this is a resource for scheduled action. I want to see what exactly is it. So here is for scaling action. And what else do we have? Scheduling action. And let's see, And what is the rest of our implementation? It's implementation of policy, target, target and policy, right? Okay, so we have target and policy, and we will have scheduled action. I like it very much. I mean, I like when we support all resources available. So really, really good. Okay, good. So I think it's going to be all right if we do two things. First, we combine this with existing auto-scaling TF. Then we get rid of this all of these submodules and that's it. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, so it just should be more aligned with existing auto-scaling read, write, indexes. Again, variable names, everything should be as identical as possible. So then I will write everything pretty much in one place. Mm, mm, Looks pretty good, even if it doesn't yet. But please do the following. Remove module, and combine and implement the same logic in existing, right? So this will make code much more useful in one place, and that's good. Okay, what else? Hola, Javier. It's no, it's not so late yet for you, but hello anyway. Okay, what else? I think I said a bit more, but what else do we need for this one? So remove this module. Yeah, okay. But please remove that. Start review. Hello, Bipin, Javier. Okay, what else do we have? Oh yeah, this implementation is wrong. Well, it's maybe not wrong, but it's better to write it in a different way. I will show how. So this way, it's gonna to always be on the same structure. So the Terraform will never have surprises like in this case. If you write something with condition, then it may be that left and right part are of different types if Terraform compare them. So this is just better, and the same in other for each. Okay, what else do we have? Right, please change the variable name and type, variable names, type, and default to match existing variables like, as you can see, it's quite important to have uh, the same structure. If it says map of string, then this one should also be map of string, even if for some cases you may think that, okay, list of object is better. Well, object is just unnecessary here. We use map of string for everything, and it's just fine. Okay, and again, please avoid creativity in names. If it says auto-scaling indexes, call it something like auto-scaling auto-scaling read, then this one should be called auto-scaling scheduled read. Now let's propose it. So this one should be from scheduling. This one, it should be called auto-scaling scheduled. Right, scheduled is the name of resource. Yes, it is scheduled. So this means that here it should be auto-scaling scheduled read. Right? We had auto-scaling read, and here we have auto-scaling scheduled read. Good. Then this one, it says map of read schedule scaling settings, pretty much a map of read auto-scaling settings. A map of read a map of read auto-scaling read a map of read schedule scaling settings, something like that. Scheduled. Yeah, I guess it is. Right. So somewhere we have lists, somewhere we have maps. Not sure why we have this difference. So there shouldn't be any difference. Again, I really don't like when people introduce creativity just in the pull request. It just doesn't make consistent output. Okay, enough about this one. I want to look into resources one more time, just to understand what kind of properties do we have here and what kind of things are supported. So we have resource support for name, so there's namespace, resource ID, scalable dimension. Let's look into code. Name, resource, scalable dimension, service namespace, schedule. What is schedule? Right, schedule is here. And then start time, and time zone. Right? Where is this? Start time, and time zone. It's not here. Why it's not here? And it's not even in the module. Okay. What does it mean? It means that we need to add support for missing resources or missing arguments, sorry. Where can we add? Please add support for available arguments of resource start time, end time, and time zone. I know that not many people will use it, but again, if it is there, then it should be there. Time zone. Mm, let's see, I will add a link here just as a reference. Good. Okay, yeah, that's it. Was pretty good pull request in general, but it requires a little bit of extra efforts. And again, what is the point of module without output? I'm not sure. Mm, well, maybe mm, let's take a look into outputs. Yeah, well, we don't have outputs here. Probably we don't need them. Yeah, we don't need them here. Okay, but again, there is no point in having module in the first place. Let's see, these default values are a little bit challenging because um, because we don't want to have very expensive examples either. So 1,000, is it a lot? Probably not, right? Yeah, no, it should be fine. Okay, good. So let's move on. Let's finish this one and request changes. Request changes. Yes, good. Okay, let's close. Let's close everything. This one. No, okay, let's look into a cool thing. The cool thing for today, at least in my definition, is to add new feature to the module. In this case, AWS EventBridge added support for pipes a long time ago, and it eventually landed in Terraform AWS provider not long time ago in version 5.6, which was June 30, so it's 1 month ago. No, 2 months ago. So it's time to implement it in the module. Let's take a look into how it's implemented in, where is this? In Terraform provider. So I need to look into resource which is called pipes, I guess. It's a little bit challenging in the way that pipes are implemented. I'm just thinking loud as pretty much everything what I do on this stream. EventBridge and EventBridge pipes, as well as EventBridge scheduler and schema, they are implemented under its own resources. So all of them are pretty much like independent services. They are not part of one like namespace, which is called EventBridge, because EventBridge previously was called CloudWatch Events. That's why all resources are CloudWatch Events. So pipes eventually is just one resource under EventBridge pipes. Okay. Yeah, and I really like where AWS is writing that, or AWS or Terraform EventBridge was formerly known as CloudWatch Events. I wonder for how many years they will continue to do this. Probably it's never going to be removed. Okay, let's see. Right, so to have this implemented, all we need to do is just to add this resource with some role, source, and target. What? This is a simple example. Okay. I just wanted to explain what pipes does from top of my kind of understanding, because I have not been using it myself for anything. But it looked cool when I knew about it for the first time, and I have a couple use cases already in my head. Okay, so it allows us to get something from one. Let's see. Instead of me talking about it, let's look into documentation. Right, so pipes actually three things. It's connection to the source, where some events are common, and then there is filtering enrichment implemented on EventBridge side, and then there is not straight line from enrichment to target because there is some gap. It's important. This one. Okay. You can create pipe with following SQS order received message queue as event source, event bridge API destination as enrichment, okay, and step function as target. Yeah, pretty cool. Absolutely. Let's implement it. Where can we implement it? Right. Let's look into the code. The dependent feature was released. Could this be reopened? Sure. Let's reopen it. How about writing code for these pipes? Anyone? Do we have even code for this feature? Let's see. It can be that it's already there. No, there is nothing for pipe. No, there were no pipe. Maybe pipes. No. Okay, so nobody was actually writing code for it, which is bad. It means I need to write it. But okay, no pipes. Okay. Right, so then if we need to add this functionality, look into this resource documentation, figure out basic example, like what kind of resources will have to be provided. And then the question is, who should provide these things? Should our module create it or should user provide it? It's one of question to always remember, like where to get this information from, externally, internally, and yeah, have support for a variety of cases. Okay, enrichment parameters, that's it. Filter usage, that's it. SQS, source and target. Okay, a bunch of different parameters. Yeah, oh, that's a lot of different arguments to support. So I was thinking that it's like small thing to put in the middle and it's gonna to work and we'll have like fun in 15 minutes, but no, it's gonna to be a pretty big pull request as well as example. Ooh, so many different parameters to add. Oh, that's a long documentation page. Oh my God. I was really optimistic that it's gonna to take me like uh, 15 minutes to have. Why it is so big? Why this documentation is so long? Come on, it's not even ending. Yeah, it's oh, but at the end we'll have some ARN and ID. Well, this is pretty big thing. Um, okay, well, we can do this. It's not end of the world, but let's look into. Before writing anything, what I usually like is like when it's added 2 months ago, I really like to go to this place and see that, oh yeah, it was added. Some people was really happy, like in this case, uh, probably the person who opened this issue. So Bradley was glad. I'm really happy that he was glad because his job was done. But now let's look for problems. 2 weeks ago, there was bug with some self-managed Kafka configuration. Okay, and then there was bug with something else, and then there was bug with DynamoDB streams, and all of these are open issues, which means that um, it's not 100% work, but at the same time, it's not like it's semi-finished. For me, it just means that when I'm writing code, I will have to remember that there are open issues, and sometimes I need to look into those issues just to understand that it's already well known. And I very seldom open issues in Terraform provider AWS because there are a lot of people who are using this provider and they have reported most likely things already. Okay, but let's put some heart, some love. Okay, enough. Enough love, let's do some work. Okay, so the way to do this is to implement this resource in very simple configuration and then add support for many different dynamic blocks like this, and also write examples for all of this. And yeah, that's it. Let's do this. I have no clue how long time will it take, but I think there are still a few people on the stream, so it should be all right. Okay, EventBridge. Let's take some latest code and let's take a look into git checkout. It's going to be feature and we're going to call it pipes. Okay, so far so good. I guess no questions so far. Let's look into main TF, what we have already. Well, we have some magic, which I actually don't like. I didn't like it since day one, to be honest, but I was probably not pushy or I was lazy enough to implement it or to protect my opinion that it should be implemented differently. Now we have to deal with it. That's the reality. Like sometimes you need to be much more kind of demanding. Anyway, we implement a bunch of different resources, rules, targets. Target is pretty similar by complexity to this one. And then we implement event connection, which is also pretty complicated. And here we are with schedule groups, with schedule, which was a recent addition, which is also very similar, very complicated thing. And here we are. So we are going to add this resource. This resource, of course, I can write it from the very beginning, but as I said, there are a lot of parameters already added. So I'm thinking to reusing code for maybe this resource or another resource. So let's look into documentation and just compare how similar the resources are. So here we have a bunch of different blocks for enrichment, source, parameters, and I guess source parameters and target parameters are rather similar, and they have also values for different yeah, for different services implemented. Okay, let's look into what was the name? Event. Let's see. Another resource which is similar, as I think, is event target. Event target, this one. Event target. Come on, so long. Right here, a bunch of different things, bunch of, yeah, well, similar type of complexity. I mean, a lot of different arguments supported. No, not really convincing. Okay, and another one which may be similar or we can use is called event connection. No, not really. It's also a bunch of different maps included one into another, but we're not gonna to have a lot of fun by reusing this code. Yeah, no, that's it. Maybe the last one, which can be, is schedule, this one. But if not, then we'll just write everything from scratch. So here we have target with, I thought maybe this is identical because there are different services supported as a source or target in pipes. Yeah, well, this looks similar, but not. I mean, it's gonna to take a lot of time to copy. Yeah, let's just go back to the code and implement one by one each of this argument. Just as a basic, I can copy. I can copy something. Let's say I can copy this like this, just to begin with, and it's going to be for this resource. Right. Okay, so here we are. We're going to add this resource. Let's just close something like this. I guess it's like this. Okay, so we are going to add pipes. Let's, as I've been telling to a friend of mine, that always start with example. And I cannot imagine that it's very hard for people to understand when I say start with example. But example means that whatever you write in this main TF file or whatever kind of complexity you are putting here, you want people to be able to go to a certain folder. In this case, it's going to be probably with schedules. Yeah, we can copy this code and we're going to call it with pipes, right? Okay, add. So, and if I look into main TF, so this is where I will have to be thinking that users will write something like this, and it should make sense for them, whatever you put in the module. So when you think about the structure, for example, in our case, it's going to be pipes. And then what kind of things people will provide? Currently, I have no clue because I didn't do anything. But oh yeah, young cat progress bar. Well, yeah, if you have a slow computer, you will see this Nyan cat progress bar more often. But I also have other extensions here, as you can see. Why it's not? Maybe I deleted a little bit too little. Well, why I didn't see explosion when I delete a lot of lines? Strange. Because I only see these cracks popping at the top of the line, right? I love it so much. And yeah, this cat Nyan is also fun. So yeah, think about this use case really as a most important part. So we're going to use pipes, and then whatever we can specify here is the most vital part for the user. So we need to think about this in details later on. Okay, so we have example. We will figure out what kind of inputs we are going to add, what kind of other dependencies we need later. let's look into just making this stuff somehow working. So I guess we need to make a bunch of variables. We're going to call EventBridge pipes and create pipes. Let's make these variables create uh, create where is this create schedules, and then we add one more and we call it pipes. Controls whether EventBridge pipes resources should be created. By default, it's true. We also want to be able to give at least some control to the naming, and we say append pipes postfix, and controls whether to append pipe to the name of the pipe true. So it's going to be this one, and go back to this code, and we need to go to EventBridge pipes local, which is somewhere here, and we are going to come up with something like this. Well, what is this? Sometimes we have one name, sometimes we have two names. So these are tags, and sometimes we use them as a key. Let's see, why do we have this in this way? That's exactly what I don't like, because sometimes we have name, sometimes we have a rule, sometimes we have two names. Oh, hello, Ian. Yeah, thank you very much. 100 episodes. I actually wanted to make like a real party for myself, like celebrating this episode, but I was pretty busy and I couldn't realize what exactly I can do. But I will definitely do something cool, maybe on episode, I don't know, 105. Anyway, hello, Eduardo. Hola, desde Argentina. Right, so EventBridge pipes, and here we are. Yeah, cake is fine too. Okay, so pipes name append pipe append pipe. What? Append pipe. It's important to follow always, like, is it singular, is it plural, to avoid surprises. Okay, pipe schedule group. Right. Okay. So in this case, it's append pipe postfix. Good. So we'll have what will we have in this case? Do we need map or do we need a list? Probably we need to have map, but in most cases we have list, right? List, 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 list. Why is this the case? I don't know yet. I really don't know why. Sometimes we have list, sometimes map, because we are iterating through this, and we are making it as a map anyway. So it doesn't matter what we are iterating through. All right, let's take a look into this usage of these schedule groups. No, I don't understand what's going on here. Right, okay, in this case, we are actually using each key, which can be as a way to create named schedule group. Okay, then it makes sense. Then it's easier to iterate through map, like this one. This is map, right? Okay, but in our case, most likely we are not going to use key. That's why we are always referring to value, right? There is always each value, value, value. There is no need for key. Okay, makes sense. So far, so good. I'm very happy. Okay, all right. Okay, right. Let's put a bit more magic in this resource and think about what exactly do we need to have, what kind of mm, pipes, right. Uh, EventBridge pipes are very configurable. Oh yeah, I can tell this. Unfortunately, they are very configurable and we need to support all of this. And may require IAM permissions to work correctly. This is also true. More information can be found there. Okay. So let's look into, let's say, name role, this example. I usually copy from example as is, and then I customize things here just to have everything in one place. It's easier. So we need to have name. We have name. Is there a support for name prefix? Yes, there is support for name prefix too. Where is this? This is not needed. Where is my code? Okay, here is it. So there is support for name and name prefix if it was specified. Right? Name and name prefix. Name prefix. Like this. No, but this is groups, and groups are maps. Well, it's also important to understand, since I have not used this, it's important to follow how AWS is showing it in UI. So some resources, like old resources, I mean IAM, you cannot edit many things in UI, but you can change them in API, for example. Like rename username, I think, or something. So maybe we need to implement similar behavior with this one, as it is implemented with groups. So maybe it should be map actually, but you never know. No. So name will be index, so means that pipes will actually be map. Okay, good. So in this case, it's where is this name, right? So it's going to be actually here it's going to be pipe, not shed. Okay. Right. So we have support for this guy. Name. Yeah. We'll see later anyway. So role IRN and source and target. Which of these are important or required? Let's take a look into the code and figure out. Okay, the following arguments are required: role, source, and target. IRN of the role that allows the pipe to send data to target. Yeah, well, that's good. So role, source, and target, and All other things are optional. Where is this source? Typically an IRN. Okay, so it's going to be string, right? So two of these are going to be string. Good. I know that it's time to wrap up this stream, but I just want to make it a little bit more like complete. So this role is required, source, and target. Since it is required, it's going to be IRN of something which will come from each value source. And here it's going to come from each value target. Very not creative in namings on purpose. Role IRN is required, and again, it's going to come from multiple places. It can be that user is going to provide it. Role value, role IRN, right? What it means is that when user specify, this as an input, they will manage it themselves. One of the biggest questions here is whether we should be doing anything with this role in the module. Should we create this module, this role somehow? Because like we do for the event rule and for yeah, this is a pretty big part of the module itself. We are making this IAM role resource in the module, and we can assign it to the event rule itself. Let's take a look into what kind of magic do we do here. So we allow EventBridge rule to do something inside of the destination or target IRN. So we can specify whether we need to allow kinesis or whether we want to send messages or do something in the target service. Actually, this one is, as far as I understand, is not going to work because this is one of the deprecated action. As far as I understand, we have this discussion in SNS module, but I was not following it so much. So if you have some understanding of what's going on with this SNS publish action, please let me know. I think it is deprecated. Anyway, the open question is whether we need to do anything for pipe IAM role. If we do, then our code should look something like this, where we say that user provide role IRN or user provide role IRN, or we make it in the module. It's one of the most powerful things to my mind, where we handle IAM depending on user request. Let's take a look into documentation, and here often we can find information about, let's say, targets. Here you can say you can send data in your pipe to a specific target, blah, 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 and target parameters, permissions. To make API calls on resources that you own, EventBridge pipes need appropriate permission. So yeah, the answer is that this module will have to support a way to provide and to create roles required to invoke lots of different targets. Yeah, which is fine. It's yeah, it's fine as long as AWS document what kind of role is actually needed. Um, I just need to find it somewhere. Let's see. I really want to find this information somewhere before I move on, because I don't like the fact that this information is not a link, which means that I may have to do some archaeologist job and search something here, which obviously I don't want to do. Okay, so CloudWatch logs. Whether you use input transformer or not, the event payload is used as log message. You can set something here, but tell me roles. Tell me IAM roles for the pipe. Permissions for pipes is this one. When setting up pipe, you can use existing execution roles or have EventBridge create one for you with the needed permissions. The permissions EventBridge pipes require vary listed below. If you are unsure of the exact well scope permissions, use EventBridge pipes console to create a new role, then inspect the action listed in the policy. Well, that's the story of my life. That's how I've been doing it. But luckily, AWS published what kind of roles are needed for all of the services. So that's pretty good. And there are not many roles actually needed, which is good. So I'm gonna to take this information into the code and just going to add it as a note around a role I ran so that I know where to take this information from. And I add annotation to say make IAM a role. All right, so this is it. Some exception. If you're using IAM role-based authentication, your execution role will need permission. In addition, oh my God. Yeah, Kafka is another beast. Right, okay, so far looks good. The creation process is again pretty straightforward. Yeah, bunch of different sources supported, bunch of different targets, parameterization of everything. Yeah, looks cool. Okay, I think I need to finish this stream for today, and I will continue maybe next time, specifically just this thing. I'm pretty sure I can do quite a lot in regards to this pipes addition to this EventBridge module. Hopefully you guys found something useful today, and we'll see each other soon. Some of you I will see in 2 weeks in Munich. Some of you I will see in October during HashiConf. And yeah, at reInvent. If you are around, let's meet and let's talk. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day. See ya. Bye.